Kept you waiting, huh?
Listen with your gift of light. What just calls a judgment night? Feel the sorrow, the light is swallowed. Feel the freedom like no tomorrow. My chosen torture makes me stronger. Inner life that craves the hunger. My freedom in a quest for life. The judgment night. Stepping forward the cure for the soul's demise. Break the tears of the victim's cries. Hear them all to heal the sufferer. Love a demon as I put it on up. Kill before and then kill them all. Cast down the righteous law. Serving justice that dwells in me. Love and God so far as the eye can see. The eye can see. The eye can
Wow, y'all really missed me, huh? You know what? I get it. I get it. I understand. I said, I get it. Okay, you stop. You can stop cheering now. Thank you. I do appreciate the applause. I really do. Truly. Because I know that it's been a while, and I did say at the end of the first one that I'm not going to work on the second one for a long time. At least 4 months. Clearly it wasn't 4, but we're here, we're doing the thing, and this one is going to feature more action games than just Devil May Cry because of, release dates and things of that nature, but we're here, we're doing it, so get comfortable. The only thing you need to concern yourself with is sitting down, getting a drink, getting a snack, get some food, get comfortable, and let's continue going down the pipeline. So, after going through the absolute gauntlet that was the original release of Devil May Cry 3, what game did I decide to get into next? And the answer to that is Kingdom Hearts 2, baby. And I don't necessarily recall if I've mentioned this, at least in the video that wasn't my video essay, which if you haven't watched that, you should go watch that. I got into Kingdom Hearts because my old man randomly came home with it one day and was like, hey, I think you'll like this. And like it, I did. However, it, in comparison to Devil May Cry 3, was really, really, really easy. And I had relatively no problems.
Dance, water, dance! Dance, water, dance, water, dance!
That legitimately made me...
What the fuck?
2 hours. It took me 2 hours to beat him. What I decided to do from then on was play Kingdom Hearts 2 like I was playing Devil May Cry 3, and oh my god, did I start having way more fun with it. After unlocking my mind's eye or whatever, of really just me being mad as a kid that I struggled on the same part for 2 hours, I then proceeded to beat the game that day. Though at that point, I'm pretty sure my save file was at a good 20 hours or so. I unfortunately don't have my original PS2 memory card to show it, but I put a lot of time into it. And then once I beat the game, I was like, alright, cool. What do I do now? Oh, hello, gateway to the greatest anime series ever made. Now, for full transparency's sake, Fullmetal Alchemist 2 is in no way anything close to as action intensive as Kingdom Hearts 2, definitely not Devil May Cry 3. But you know what both games have in common? They have a perfect system. What do I mean by that? Devil May Cry has
Royal Guard!
and Fullmetal Alchemist 2 has the counter system. If you press the guard/dodge button just before you get hit, you will either slide and side check the shit out of them, duck and chin check the shit out of them, or do a really cool backflip. Now, did that stop me from seeing the game over screen though? Absolutely the fuck not. So skipping ahead in time a little bit, in my dogged pursuit of finding something to fill the void of action games that was Devil May Cry, I got into MMOs. And at first, the closest thing that filled that gap was this nice game called L-Sword. And I played a lot of it. And then, when I started getting into PvP, that was, for the most part, the only thing I did outside of the time attack boss rush mode, which was really, really fun. But, outside of Raven, I wasn't that great with any other character, and the reason I latched on to Raven so bad was, one, he reminded me of Zero from the Mega Man series, and two, he was the closest thing to Virgil. Why am I bringing up Virgil? Because in between the time skip, a little game called Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition came out, and I got to play as Virgil, and that was a life-changing experience. It was so much fun playing as a character that absolutely relentlessly bullied me, and then playing as a character going through the entire game and beating himself up. That was really, really cool, really, really fun. And so I started playing Blade Master, and I was like, oh, he's just like Virgil. I played a lot of L-Sword. A lot of it. Now, unfortunately, I don't have my old footage anymore because it was on an old computer, yada yada yada. Preservation wasn't really like the biggest thing for me back then, but also in between that time frame, I got a PS3. And I was very slowly, emphasis on slowly, becoming better and better and better at learning how to look for things on the internet, becoming more tech savvy, becoming more media literate, things of that nature. And so, as I was watching good old YouTube, what did I find? Devil May Cry 4 came out in 2008, I believe. I didn't get a PS3 until I think 2010 or 2012, somewhere in between that time frame, because I remember fondly playing the hell out of Sonic Unleashed. That was a lot of fun. That also appealed with the world a little bit. But when I learned that Devil May Cry 4 came out, and I got my hands on it, I didn't play any other game, with the exception of Phantasy Star Online 2, for like months and months and months, because it was that much fun. Now, there was just one small problem when it came to me getting my hands on the game, and it's that my dad was what we call responsible, and he paid a lot of attention to the ESRB rating. So when I had my allowance money saved up, and I'm like, hey dad, let's go to GameStop, and I walk right over to the PS3 section, and I go grab Devil May Cry 4. He goes, whoa, 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 hey, what you doing with that M-rated game there, boy? And I say, Dad, I don't really have an answer for you. I just really want this game. And so he goes up to the guy at the register, and he's like, hey, what's this game about? So he pulls up a video, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, see, Dad, I'm bidding up monsters like it's Kingdom Hearts. And he's like, okay. Sure, you can have it. So I get it, go home, immediately pop that bitch in, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait. Why is Dante doing bad guy things? Who is this other guy? What's going on? Oh wait, the other guy can grab people? Oh. So boom, in the tutorial, and I'm going through it, learning the controls. I'm alright, this is cool. Fighting Dante has me scared out of my mind. Now I know it's literally mission 1, it's not supposed to be that hard, but still, you know, fighting Mr. Woohoo Wacky Pizza Guy that does all the cool flippy and the dippy, the fear of God was in my hands and in my heart when I was doing this tutorial. But it wasn't that bad. So I did that, went through it, got my rank. I'm alright, this is pretty cool, it's pretty nice. And I'm going through it, right? And I'm like, huh, Nero is kind of cool. I like his animations. I like the thing he's got going on with the arm. His sword is really, really nice. And so I go into mission 2. Going through mission 2, you know, no big deal. It is what it is. But I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This Nero guy is really, really cool. And it's this cutscene that's playing right now that really, like, locked in how cool he was for me. Because it's like, dude has a weird arm, and he has a motorcycle engine. I know it's not a motorcycle engine, but he has a motorcycle engine in his sword? Hello? And he did the enemy writing thing that you could do in 3, and I have no idea why that isn't in the franchise anymore. That should absolutely come back for Devil May Cry 6 whenever we get it. But anyway, going through it, mission 2 is pretty cool, having a good time. And then I'm fighting a boss right away. And I'm like, okay, alright. I appreciate the fact that the game thinks I'm good enough to handle a boss already, but I literally just started playing the game, bro. However, I do have the added bonus of putting in a lot of hours into Devil May Cry 3, so I'm not going into this with too much of a skill handicap, but it's still like, oh, I'm fighting a boss, and it's the second mission. Okay, alright. And on the subject of mission count, mission 6 is when Nero gets his Devil Trigger, and it was at this moment that I finally decided to start paying attention to the story. Because when I saw the Yamato, I'm like, wait a minute. That's Virgil's sword. What is that doing here? How did it break? Etc, etc. You know, I got all these questions and stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe I should start caring and paying attention about the story. So, after this beautiful cutscene was over, I then proceeded to stop my playthrough, got a copy of Devil May Cry 1 and 2. I'll talk about those later. And then I learned that there were manga and light novels and an anime about it came out. I read everything, I watched everything, I played everything. But going, 1 through 4 didn't really make a lot of sense. So then I got to the good old internet, and then I got the proper story order, and then I did everything again in the correct order. Oh, this is really, really cool. I like this even more. I resumed my playthrough, and I started using Nero's Devil Trigger. My favorite part was how when you trigger it, the little explosion thing with the fist pump, best tech ever. Now that I have my homework done, I replayed a couple missions. My overall enjoyment of not just 4, but Devil May Cry as a whole, save for 2, has skyrocketed, right? So I'm continuing to play through, I'm doing my thing, getting better. I got the enemy steps, I learned how to cancel, I'm learning how to, master the X act, the max act, things like that. My skill level is rising, and again, I can thank the fact that before playing 4, I played 3. And I played 3 again. And then I stopped midway through 4 to play all the other games, which involved a third playthrough of 3. So taking all that and combining it together, I am having a wonderful time, right? And then Nero gets captured. Just when I feel like I'm having a damn good time finally understanding Nero, the game goes,
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
and I get to play as Dante. Remember how, in the first part, I said multiple times I had to relearn how to play the game? When I tell you that my mind snapped in half trying to learn how to play Dante in 4, having access to all the styles and all the things, it was like, wow, my fingers hurt, my mind hurts. This is really, really difficult. It's like I'm trying to
What the fuck?
So, I have mentioned Tekken a few times throughout this video so far, and it's for good reason, because when I was still small, I played Tekken 1, and I played a lot of Tekken 1, and that was the time where I learned that, oh, well, if I press this at this time, and I do this, and I do that, this happens, that happens, you know, pattern recognition, all that. I'm like, this is cool. And then I went from Tekken 1 to Tekken 5, and I played a lot of Tekken 5. And fun fact, I played Tekken 5 before I even knew what Kingdom Hearts was. But when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and I was getting
Dance, water, dance!
and then earlier when I made the comment about playing Kingdom Hearts 2 like I'm playing Tekken, I'm like, oh, well, if I think about it this way, if I wait until he does this, and then I hit him here, easy, counter hitting. If I use, like, fire instead of thunder trying to hit him, cool, easy, counter picking, right? So I really wish that I would have figured that out before wasting 2 hours getting my ass kicked and having to hear
Dance, water, dance!
over and over and over before I made the connection. But like I said, I did that, kicked his ass, beat the game, it is what it is. And through my enjoyment of Tekken, and being able to relate things to Tekken, because again, pattern recognition, pressing this here, pressing that there, figuring out what works, what connects, how to do combos, this, that, and the third, it made learning action games from then onward very, very, very easy-ish.
Help. No! Stop it.
Things always gotta be complicated.
So, after getting thrashed by Dante, not as long as I got beat up by Virgil, I finally got to play as the guy proper. And I was pretty much, at first, trying to play Devil May Cry 4 Dante like I was playing Devil May Cry 3 Dante. And it worked out for all of about 20 seconds, because I had to get used to just how he felt, really, and still needing to wrap my head around having access to all of my styles at any given moment. That is the part where I had the most trouble with trying to adjust to. And I'm not gonna hold you, that adjustment period was kinda... But eventually, when I started busting out consistent A ranks, and when I got my first S rank, I was like, okay, you know what? This ain't that bad. This is gonna take a little time. I also foolishly expected Dante to retain his weapons, and then I realized that he did not have his weapons, so I'm like, oh well, I guess I'll be getting new ones at some point. I then had to get used to the fact that, oh, I have 3 melee weapons on me now. That's really cool. And then figuring out how to work with those was, again, quite difficult. But then I consulted my good, gracious teacher, the internet. And I started watching combo videos. And when I learned about the world of combo videos, I'm like, oh, wow, that is really, really cool. How do I do that? So I then proceeded to watch hours upon hours, which I still do to this day because they are genuinely entertaining pieces of work. And after watching enough combo videos for hours and hours and hours on end, I eventually sat down, reopened Devil May Cry 4 and was like,
I should be able to do it too.
was I able to do it? No, not well at all even. But after trying long enough and eventually finally breaking the Dante 3 muscle memory that I had, I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting it now. I'm finally starting to get it. It's not that bad. I was making things unnecessarily hard for myself, but at the same time, having to learn a completely new game while trying to play it like the old game made for quite the problem. But eventually, like I've been saying, I figured it out and I went through the rest of the game and had a pretty good time with it. That is, up until I began to notice 3 very specific things. And I started to have my experience lowered a little bit. And why am I going through the stages backwards? What happened here? Why does Dante have his own stages? And then thing 2 was, man, I'm not really having fun with these stages anymore. It doesn't feel like these enemies were necessarily designed for Dante. This really sucks. And then thing 3 was, oh hey, well the bosses are really cool. You know what, actually I only like the plant lady and the fire one. When I came to those realizations, I'm like, man, I don't think I enjoy playing as Dante right now. That's a really, really unfortunate realization. Because, again, you know, young dude, learning curve, trying to figure it all out. But at the end of the day, if I don't like something, then I don't like it. And, you know, naturally, with time and change and whatever, your opinions change, your feelings change. I like playing as Dante now in Devil May Cry 4. But back then, I was like, yeah, I don't like this very much. When can I get back to playing Nero? Then I got back to playing Nero and I was like, okay, yeah, this I like. I like this a lot. And until I unlocked Bloody Palace mode, I was like, man, I wish I could just fight bosses as Dante. Granted, I could after every 20 floors, but I could. And that's what made it fine for me. And when I finished Devil May Cry 4, I was like, okay, alright, I have a lot of complaints, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And then, as I stated earlier in the video, having played all the games and done my research and done my homework or whatever, that universally made me enjoy things a lot more. And then, after beating Devil May Cry 4 multiple times, I went back to playing Final Fantasy VII, trying to 100% that. I went back playing Sonic Unleashed, L Sword, Genji Dawn of the Samurai, if anyone watching this video knows what that is. I played more Kingdom Hearts 2. I finished my playthrough of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, the PS2 version, and things were pretty good. I was having a really good time. And that was also when I started to play PSO2 way more than what I did previously. I had a good cycle of action games to cycle through for my day-to-day and all that. And then, one of the greatest games I ever played and still continue to play to this day came out. Well, after 4 long months of work on this one video, I am happy to say that it is finally done. And I just want to thank the people who watched us all the way through to the end. I know that I uploaded that bit of me like going through the works with the Dante fight as Nero. I thought that was really funny. I also took 2 hours doing that part, and I was like, you know what, I'll throw this up, and it's getting a lot of love and views and whatever, so that's cool. And with this part being done, as per what I said on the first part, I'm not going to think about, no, that's a lie. I am going to think about it, but I'm not going to work on it for at least another 4 months, because, ooh, baby, I need a break. I want to do some more smaller videos, and I've talked about it on streams before, which, quick side note, streams will now resume like normal now that I'm done with this. I did stream Trails Through Daybreak 2 as I was working on this. Those VODs will be uploaded to YouTube at some point because Twitch made that stupid thing where you can't toss up highlights anymore. That's kind of lame if they exceed 100 hours or whatever. But with this being done, I can get back to my regular upload schedule, my regular stream schedule, and I can do some smaller projects I've been working on the side a little bit, thinking about here and there, and things are going to get back to normal. Now, with the next part, I will say here and now that it will primarily focus on Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and the reboots. And I'll say this now, and I'm going to say it again when I start working on the third part. My experience with the reboot was strictly relegated to the original release. I did not play the definitive edition. I do not own the definitive edition. I will be talking about that and that alone because this is my retrospective pipeline, and that's just how this is going to play out. And that is going to be an experience because I've known a lot of people that say, well, why don't you like the reboot so much? And I explain it, but the next video will be extreme explicit detail as to why I do not enjoy and still do not enjoy the reboot in pretty much any capacity. But that's a conversation for another day. Like I said, I'm done with this. I'm very happy that I finished it. I'm very proud of what I've done, and I want to thank the stream audience that came through when I did stream Daybreak. I want to thank the people again who watched us all the way through to the end. I want to give thanks to the people who gave me just that little tinge of hope and encouragement that I needed when I was having doubts and difficulties with this. And I am really enjoying making the longer, 20-30 minute edge type videos, because I have a lot to say about a lot of things, and if I have an outlet to get those things out, then so be it. But anyway, the credits are pretty much over at this point, and just like how I did with the first part, I will leave you with a parting gift of how I actually play the game. And that's all for me. Take care.
Stop